In my last video, I did a 30-day outreach challenge where I reached out to 128 companies in 30 days. When I was doing this outreach, I was using a PDF work sample to showcase my newest and best work. But what I learned was that people don't really want to see a PDF, they want to see an updated website. So in today's video, we're going to do that website update together. I'll show you how I approach my portfolio update, which projects I chose to put in, and how I'm presenting them. And we'll also cover a handful of useful portfolio tips that will help you get your next design client or gig. Let's get into it. And hey, if you're new here, I'm Eric, a key art and brand designer based in New York City, and I create videos to show you what it's like working as a freelance designer in the entertainment industry. Now, why did I think that using a PDF of my work samples was a good idea in the first place? I thought that this would be a great way to put it off for a little while longer, but I also felt like this would give people something quick and easy that they can click on to see my newest and best work. I also felt like, hey, this is a great way to just keep in touch with people by showing them what you've been doing recently. And also, when I was working full-time as an in-house design director, a lot of agencies would send me PDFs like this because they wanted to work with us. So when I first sat down to do this portfolio update, I knew that I wanted to make it a little bit easier on myself because, let's be honest, I don't think the portfolio update is always the most exciting thing for creatives. So I wanted to make it as easy and seamless as possible. And that's why I like to use Adobe Portfolio. Using Adobe Portfolio allows me to push these projects to my website from Behance, allowing me to feed two birds with one stone. And this would just make it easier on me. So now let's get into the projects that I wanted to add and how I went about showcasing them. The first project that I wanted to add to my design portfolio is one that I'm most proud of, and that is the design campaign for Alone Season 8 on History. Now, this is a project I worked on while I was a design director for A&E Networks, and I'm super proud of this campaign, and I still see this artwork, or a variation of it, used to promote the series. When putting together this case study, I wanted to add some copy just to give some context and talk about my role in the project as well as the process. A lot of times when you're making key art for a show or a movie or anything like that, there's so much work that goes into it that a lot of people don't see. So by speaking about these things, it can help give a potential client or customer an idea of what it would be like to work with you. I decided to add a few of the comps or concepts that I put together when going through this creative exploration to show some more of that thinking that I was trying to experiment with. And because this show is really all about the isolation and the wilderness, I wanted to try to capture the energy of the grizzlies and the mountain, which I ended up combining in the final piece of key art. While updating this project, I also wanted to show some of the other placements that were created. Sometimes this is called out of home, but it's really things like billboards, taxi toppers, or anything that you'll see out there in the world. Now for this part, I decided to use some of my own mockups that I created from my New York City print design mockup pack. Check out the link in the description to head over to my Gumroad shop and check out these awesome high quality premium mockups if you're looking for a way to impress your clients and just share your work on social media or on your own website. A client that I was really excited and fortunate to work with is HGTV. And while I was working with their team, I developed nearly 30 pieces of key art. While that's great, the challenge is that showing 30 pieces of key art in your design portfolio can be a little bit overwhelming. Normally, I'd like to do a case study, but I felt like in this situation, it would be better to try to narrow it down, so I just picked about 10 of my favorite pieces. These 10 shows that I chose are the ones that I felt were the most well-known or widely recognizable. They all had a lot of imagery to work with, and for the most part, I would say that HGTV's style is very grounded and natural, and the designs are really more composite focused but need to highlight the talent and the titles of the shows. In that style, I wanted to try to highlight the variety of my designs for the brand. With a lot of these pieces, it's really about trying to tell a story. I tried to do that with things like the environments and the backgrounds. For example, with Celebrity IOU, I used a film strip to highlight the celebrity guests that show up to surprise their friends and families with a makeover. With Lottery Dream Home and David Bromstad's show, it's more playful because it's trying to capture the excitement of someone trying to win the lottery. This is a very different energy from a show like Fixer to Fabulous, which is a bit more straightforward and natural. Now, a lot of times when people think about key art, they might just be thinking about TV shows and movie posters. But another area where you can apply these skills are things like book covers and podcasts. And that's why I wanted to feature some of these projects that I created for Audible Originals. For this section, I picked 4 of my favorite titles. These required the most compositing or retouching because there were so many elements that had to be combined. Each of these stories was so different, but I wanted to show how I could adapt my style to the needs of each specific story. I thought this would be a great chance to just showcase my skills in balancing the talent and the design with all of the copy that needed to be integrated. You have the Audible logo, the author, the narrator, and it's a lot to juggle. But it was up to me to try and find some harmony with each of these pieces. I felt like it was important in the presentation to show the flat artwork so that I could highlight all of the nice details. But I also wanted to highlight how these designs will appear on their native platforms. And that's why I'm showing them on both a mobile and a laptop mockup. I also decided to include an animated mockup at the top of the presentation to try and grab the viewer's attention and add some excitement and some energy to the project. Using mockups like this, whether static or animated, can be a great way to elevate your presentation and just make things feel more polished and professional. Hey Eric, what are you working on? Oh hey, I'm teaching people how to create some custom type in Adobe Illustrator. Oh wow, I've been trying to learn Illustrator for a while, just kind of scouring the internet for tutorials, but it's so overwhelming. I mean, there's a lot of free ones out there, but I just don't know where to start. I hear you. I felt the exact same way when I was starting out trying to improve my skills. Have you heard about the new Adobe Illustrator Beginner to Pro course on GOSKILLS? I haven't. What's that? I'm so glad you asked. Adobe Illustrator Beginner to Pro is exactly what it sounds like. By the end of the course, you will know exactly how to design unique logos, branding, and mockups for real-world projects, design eye-catching visuals and 3D elements, perfect selections, shapes, and drawing tools to help you bring your ideas to life, work with color palettes, patterns, and gradients, explore typography to elevate your designs, and learn all about the new 3D interface and tools. That sounds great. Who's the instructor? I am. I've been using Adobe Illustrator for 15 years, and I've created multiple courses and lessons on this very channel, but I've condensed all of my knowledge and experience using Illustrator into this course to help you go from a beginner to a pro. If you aren't already a GOSKILLS member, you can sign up now for your free 7-day trial and check out the Adobe Illustrator Beginner to Pro course. Wow, that sounds exactly like what I've been looking for. I'm gonna go sign up now and check out the course. But in the meantime, I'll let you get back to it. One of my favorite clients from this past year that I got to work with was Sound and Fission. In addition to all of the key art work that I showcase on my website, I also wanted to make sure to include some branding because this is my other area of expertise. It's really not every day that I get to work with an award-winning production studio, so I wanted to include this project in my portfolio update because it was so much fun to work on. I actually did a whole other video where I do a deep dive into this project and everything that went into it, and I'll link that below. For Sound and Fission, I wanted to make this presentation colorful and engaging. I decided to showcase the different variations of the logo that I created, along with things like the typefaces, the color palettes, icons, and more. Anytime that I can do a branding project like this, I love being able to also show how the assets can be combined to help the client see what's possible. I've also used a few different mockups here to show how things like business cards, badges, mugs, bags, and shirts can look. I find that doing this helps the viewer understand how flexible their identity system can really be. So adding this project to my website really feel like it would help round things out between the key art and the branding work that I wanted to showcase. Now that the portfolio update is done, here are a few of my takeaways and tips. The first is, don't wait to do your portfolio update like I did, do it as you go. The second tip is to think about the cover image or the thumbnail for your projects. What would make somebody want to click? Try to find an interesting crop or just something that would be really engaging and exciting for a potential viewer or a client. The next thing that I would say is that mockups can be a great way to elevate your designs, but they're not going to be a replacement for having a good design. You really want to focus on nailing that design first and then figuring out the best way to showcase it. Doing this can not only help clients visualize how their projects will look in the real world, but it can show that you've thought about these things ahead of time and planned accordingly. And the last thing is to consider whether or not a case study may be the best way for you to showcase your project. I didn't do it with every single project here, but in some cases it can be really useful to give some context. Instead of just showing a single image, talk about what your role was, what was the process, even try to show some behind the scenes or process images as you go. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for doing this big portfolio update together with me. I hope that it makes updating your portfolio site a little bit less scary and daunting. Be sure to check out this video next, where you can see the 30-day outreach challenge that spurred this update in the first place. All right, creative, thanks so much for watching. Keep designing, and we'll see you in the next one.